It's going online on everything right now. Hold on. Says I'm
Welcome back
online
to
on
the
Facebook.
universe.
Says you're
we
back.
back?
Says I'm back. Hey, look at that. Hello, everyone. See what happens? See, here's the thing. I think what's happening is that Disney's catching wind that we're talking about them.
Man.
And they're shutting us down. That's what's happening. Disney's catching wind and they shut us down.
They suck. Stop it, Disney. Leave us alone. I still think
all right, back to Invincible.
Vince McMahon's
Here we go.
behind it. Okay, yeah, Invincible. Great show. The guest voices are amazing. A lot of them from The Walking Dead and from other stuff that are really, really cool. Glenn's the main voice, right?
This might be the first time that I've had to tell you to watch something and stick it out.
Yeah, well, I've seen it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think it was just, but I don't think I would have liked too much at that point because I was sad.
Sure,
but
I understand.
At the same time, that whole, as I mentioned, the whole deal of, you know,
The
hey,
family.
it's superheroes, but they're actually real people. Look what they do behind the scenes, and families and kids. And
What did you think of my theory on now? Listen,
Mhm.
I was just throwing this out there because it's new and I know there's comics, I guess, about this thing.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, Image
I
Comics.
didn't realize it. I didn't realize it, but when I first watched it, I'm like, God, there's a Batman, there's a Flash, there's a Wonder Woman. There, you know, what I mean, they kind of had covered off the bases, and I'm like, so the boys just did this. These guys are doing this. And then now there's this, Jupiter's Legend or something on Netflix, which is almost exactly the same. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, there's this thing. But then, okay, spoiler alert-ish, at the end of episode 1, when all hell breaks loose and those team members are no longer with the show, then I was like, well, that's them now officially separate. Them saying, to me, it was them saying, all right, you've been watching Marvel, you've been watching DC, you've been watching this, and you've been watching that.
Mhm.
We're teasing you, saying this is kind of like it, and now we've just completely wiped that off the planet. We're not associated with them at all. That was my take of that whole last scene, as graphic as it was. It was kind of like, nope, there's no more Batman, there's no more this, there's no more that. It's this. You still have a core guy with the main guy.
Yeah.
You know,
why do you think he
Omni-Man.
did that? Like, because I know why he did it, because I saw the end. I know. But why do you think that that dude killed all those heroes?
Well, I'm not that far ahead.
No, I just predicting. I'm just
yeah.
curious if you're going to get it right, or if you.
I'm gonna predict that he had sort of some kind of plan in his brain to have him and his son rule the world, and they didn't want any interference. But I'm pretty. I mean, obviously that's probably not the case. I haven't heard much of that rumbling online. But my first thing was like, you know, that he was like trying to create this little bubble. That's the word of the year, right? Bubble for himself, and he's gonna bring his son in, and they were gonna form their own thing, and he can control everything. But I don't think that that's the case. I have to get caught up on it. But the thing is, I'm in episode 3. It's killer. I like the animation. I think it's awesome.
Great
that old
actors,
school-
great voice actors, man.
Great voice actors. I had to go back in there. Mark Hamill's in there too.
Yeah, and Buddy, who plays
Seth
J. Jonah
Rogen.
Jameson in the Marvel, or the Spider-Man movies, like
He's Omni-Man. Yeah.
he's one of the main characters as well. And what was the other lady in there that you said was from around here, who does the mum? Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh.
Yes. Where's she from, Lonnie?
She's from Napanee.
Napanee. She's from Napanee, right up the road from me here. As Avril Lavigne, who comes back all the time and visits.
Oh yeah, you've seen her at the local 5 and Dime.
Oh man, every time I go through, if I ever go through Napanee, I've only been there a few times, but she's always there. Oh, and our cat how did our cat get back in the house? I thought we barred him from the house. Yeah, it's cold. Put him back out. It's like an earthquake when he hits. So yeah, so I recommend watching Invincible though. If you can get past, like, if you're a seasoned comic book, TV show, movie guy, you may be a little tired of the subject matter off the hop. But like, you know, oh wow, how's this kid gonna deal with having powers and going to high school and being a normal kid? You know what I mean? Which is funny because I'm so tired of that there's none of that in Skeletron in the Machete Comics first release, right? There's none of that. That's how tired I am of that kind of stuff. So off the beginning, there was, you know, I liked it, but there was some scenes again where I'm just kind of like looking at the pictures on my wall.
Sure. Yeah. And it's like, we've been here before. And even with the high school thing, they did it with Tom Holland with Spider-Man. It was like, which I know you weren't really a big fan of. I was actually felt pretty refreshed that they went down that road. Just me personally. I was like, to your point, because of the other Spider-Man movies and Tobey Maguire and Andrew and all these different people, I was like, to me, it was just a fresh take on it. So I didn't hate that version.
There's other things I would like to see than that, though. It's like, man, why is they wasting their time here in school? They should be showing how he makes web shooters or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, should be more stuff like that. But I get it. But that's why the kids like it. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's not for me. I'm old. It's not for. It's not made for me. We had a good moment.
I had a good moment with the kids. I had the kids with me overseas 2 summers ago. And Far From Home had just come out. That's the one that was filmed in Europe. And I had taken the kids to London Castle. It was awesome. So that whole third act is filmed on the bridge and the castle right there. And literally the day before we were in there. So all the spots they were walking, it's a tiny little thing for kids, but all the spots that we were walking, it just kind of justified that moment because it was like, wait a minute, we were just in that room and that's where this happened and the bridge is exploding. And we're like, we were literally just in that space yesterday. And we went and did it for Alex's birthday. So that was kind of fun to do. And we also found by accident, we found the underground tunnel in Paris where they filmed Mission Impossible.
Oh, wow.
And they have this really cool scene. And we took scooters, the kids and I took scooters and we're booting around. And I'm like, this looks oddly familiar. And I brought up on my phone Mission Impossible. It was the exact spot, exact scene.
Wow.
And we actually filmed it. I actually filmed Alex recreating the scene.
That's awesome.
It took us 30 minutes to get 3 minutes of footage. And it was.
Reenactments are tough.
Yeah.
That's great. Hey, there's Todd. He's coming in here. Yay. What do we get to?
Shortly.
All right. We left out. We still have Venom and Gal Gadot.
Hey, look at this guy.
Hey, Todd.
Come on, boys.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
You might have. We've cut in and out 7 times, but I don't know what's going on in the planet. But we think it's because we were talking shit about Disney and they shut us down. So
probably what it was.
They came in and shut us down. I think we're good now, though. We're good now. How you doing, buddy?
Todd Hancock. Welcome, buddy.
Hey guys.
Cheers.
Right on. Good to see you. I feel like a lazy asshole because after Chris and I had talked 4 or 5 days back, I was all fired up to get into the comic book collection and really like find some of those gems that we were talking about. And then literally at like 5 o'clock today, I was like, fuck. I haven't.
Oh no, you'll get in there, man. You'll get in there. Do you guys do you have
I did bring some
oh, perfect. That's a nice one, huh?
If you haven't done this book yet as a Batman fan, or even just like, oh, I kind of like Batman.
The art's good. Do you remember why that book was so? Remember what the big thing about that book was, though?
No.
You see Bruce Wayne's Wang, like they no, seriously. And I remember the comic. We had this huge conversation downtown at the comic book store, and they're like, "Yeah, they show his Wang in there, and it's like Filipino shot of Bruce Wayne, and it's like a huge thing." Everybody was talking about it.
Now you got me looking like
it's in there, dude. It's in there, and I guess he's.
I need some theme music. Then this is called Wang music.
Wang music. It's
the theme on the network this week.
And then the second print, they blacked it out though. You couldn't see it.
It's the theme.
Remember that, Lonnie, and that Batman? Yeah. See, my wife remembers it too because she was there when we were all talking about it. Because I was like, so I said to the guys, I was like, so is it really popular and hard to get because the art's good or because they show Batman's Wang? And
the art's amazing.
Oh, it is good. It's really good. But we were just laughed at each other. I was like, well, I don't know.
It's the Wang. Yeah, but that's great.
Have you seen these, Todd?
No.
It's the Shields thing. And you got to go to Circle K.
Circle K.
Yeah, it's those variety stores, and it's those classic. Remember the things where you used to get the hockey stickers or the Marvel things, and you'd get a book, and you'd have you put them in there. Well, check it out. So you get these little like Pog things, and you collect them.
Chris was asking about the Circle K. I think I've only seen one in Langley out here, Todd. So I'm not sure. They used to be Max Milk, but I don't know what's around.
Oh, my computer.
I did a TikTok video with this dude, and I'm at like over 70,000 views. It went viral.
No way, really.
It did.
Look what else I found.
That's
we were talking about that.
Eternals are great. Well, that's the John Romita Jr. art one, right?
That's right. Yeah, and we were talking about how this is going to blow people's minds because this is going to open up worlds where, like, they're bringing Zeus into the next Thor movie. Mm-hmm. Where does that end?
Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
Hercules, Poseidon, like where does
Who's Zeus? Is it Russell Crowe?
It's just going to be Zeus. It is so funny because it's Russell Crowe. He was doing an interview and he says, "Oh, I'm so busy right now. I'm just heading up the street to be Zeus, and I'm heading over here to be this guy." And it's like, Zeus, that's Marvel. And you know how Marvel hates that, right? But this dude doesn't care. He's just like telling everybody.
Russell doesn't care.
No, Russell Crowe doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
No. But yeah, like
care.
Eternals is going to be the sleeper hit, man. Everybody's going to be like, well, I don't need to see the Eternals, but again, it's being like the birth of the Jedi or the Sith. You're going to be able to see it in little Thanos, maybe.
Yeah.
Thanos' little wang.
So unless they want to sell more copies, apparently that's what they'll do.
That's right.
But if you Google Todd, it'll say the page. Just Google Batman naked in the Damned or whatever.
You're gonna get Ben Affleck.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a lot of shit that'll
You're gonna get Ben Affleck and Christian Bale and maybe Michael Keaton and maybe Adam West. It could be a hell of a week for you, Todd.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then
Christian Bale's coming to the Marvel Universe as well. He's playing.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's going to be Gore, the God Butcher, the symbiote god.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
is he going to yell at somebody like he did on Terminator?
No, right? I think that's his whole skit. Is just like, where's my water? Don't walk in front of my shot. Stop it.
Yeah.
Could be. So, Todd, have you seen the Venom trailer?
Yeah.
Wow,
that looks good. He's eating that old lady.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
The old lady. I think it looks pretty good. I wish that. I mean, obviously, there's going to be more trailers to come, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll see a little bit more of Woody Harrelson as Carnage, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like, and I think that they're going to be able to pull it off as well as they have Venom, right? Like, how could they not make Carnage just as badass? It's going to happen.
And there was two key scenes that that I've just first noticed in the trailer. One is the Daily Bugle, which means they're in New York City now instead of San Francisco. My wife knows it. So first, Venom started in San Francisco. You're seeing the Daily Bugle, the actual newspaper, and that's based out of New York. And then when he goes to see Woody, that's in New York as well. So that's one kind of decent little, because we want to see, I don't know you, Todd, but I want to see Venom and Spider-Man interact. We got to get some spider interaction in there. Right?
Yeah. And for the first movie, they were so like, that's not happening, but they haven't said shit about this one. So even if it was just even the quickest little cameo.
Did you see him squish the spider though? Did you catch that?
No.
Yeah. Carnage is there. Woody Harrelson, and he's doing something, and this little spider runs onto a sheet, and he smacks it real quick. It's just like a 2-second scene, but he kills the spider. So it's so significant. Or they're playing with us, right? You know what I mean? Because they know we're paying attention. But those are the two cool things. So that's going to hopefully tie in the Spider-Verse a bit. And then Shriek's going to be in there as well. The female psycho Carnage. She's going to be in there as well. They see the two of them breaking out of jail. But I just think the way Woody's going to play Carnage, and he is such a great. Like the drawings of Carnage are amazing. So the stuff they do with him in Venom is going to be great. And plus, I've got the first appearance of Carnage in all kinds of Carnage comics. So they're going to make my comics worth a mint. So that's just saying, Todd, every time something finishes, like the Falcon Winter Soldier, I do a thing on, okay, this comic is now worth $100, was worth 5 or 10. They all go up. So I love it when that happens. So I say, man, you're going to go through your comics and be like, I can't believe I have the first appearance of this person, or like, wow, or just check on eBay. That's where I get my prices from.
Todd, what was the first comic you bought ever? Do you remember, or do you remember the first time that you walked into just Max Milk, or you worked or whatever? We had Becker's in Ontario, but I don't know what you had out here. But
I guess we had like Max convenience stores and stuff, 7-Eleven and shit like that. But also comic book stores. I do remember going to comic books and stores and spending like hours just peeling through the dollar bins and like daydreaming about buying like X-Men 12 and shit like that, and half the day looking through the poster racks and all that. But the actual, like, I don't know, the first one I don't know, I mean, I was pretty young, probably before I can remember really, but the one that really grabbed me was X-Men. It was X-Men in grade 5. It was around like issue 190-ish, 190, 200, around there, where it was like the Morlocks and Underground and like the Sentinels and shit. And it was just like, as a 10 or 11-year-old kid, to open your mind to that fucking blew my mind, man. And
see, Todd, you're the first guest we've had on here in a while that's the same age as me. Most of them are older, including our host and our other host, Mike. So this is great, because that was around the same time.
There you go.
It was around the same time. I
came in issue 130, 131, right? I think it was 132 was the first X-Men I got. But there was that one with was Wolverine alone, right? And that was when Wolverine first started becoming popular when John Byrne and Chris Claremont really brought him up, and he had the whole issue where it's just him against the Hellfire Club. So it was the first kind of solo Wolverine comic you saw, and that was I missed that issue. I got the one before it and the one after. I was like, what happened in there? And I was just like freaking out, right? Because back in the day we had no internet. If you didn't get that copy, man, you had to wait to go to the comic book store, and who knows how much it cost. But
totally.
Yeah, the X-Men really turned me on back in the day, man. Great comic books.
Yeah, it was and right then that was the whole Phoenix saga, and
yes, I jumped in on that, right? So that was really cool. I came in on Spider-Man and the Clone Saga, which is funny now because that was the other thing about I was going to say, Brent, about Invincible that was kind of getting me down a bit was the clones. It's like, oh my gosh, do we need more clones? Why do we need more clones? But
Todd,
I guess
have you started on Invincible yet?
Yeah.
Did you finish it? I'm only on episode 3, but
how far are you, Todd?
I'm only a couple episodes in.
Did you let the kids watch
it? I binged it today.
No kids, no.
I was joking with Brent. I was like, just get Alex to watch it, man. He can review it for us because I hadn't really seen it. And then I did see it, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, the end of episode 1, Alex went like this. He was like,
yeah.
Should have videotaped his reaction. That would have been
because he hasn't really seen, like, I didn't know it was coming either. I was sitting there watching it going,
yeah.
And then when they dropped the kids listening at home, when they dropped on everything, in episode 3, I was like, I've got him 3 episodes in, and now I kind of have to shut it down. Maybe, I don't know. Not that he's not going to hear it on the schoolyard, but I don't know how far they take it, Chris. You'd have to let me know. Is there any like boobs and stuff?
No, nothing sexual. Okay. It's all just violence. Is there anything
is it just some violence and swearing?
All violence. If there's anything sexual going on, it's just totally hinted at, and it could be confused with something else. Adult, you'd be thinking they're having sex because there's the girl that twins herself off.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's a funny scene where the one girl comes in and you've seen that part? Yeah.
I saw that part.
Yeah, the one guy's having like a menage a trois with the one girl, but there's 3 of them, right? But
have you got that far yet, Todd?
No.
That's a very minor part.
I love the name of that character, by the way.
I can't remember the names of the man, but I binged it all today. Yeah,
nice.
The whole thing, dude. Yeah, I went through the whole thing today while I was working.
Oh, she splits, right? She's got the extra character. It's very
anyway. But so Invincible is pretty good. I like it.
Superpower.
Yeah. But I'm just getting a little tired of cloning. There's a lot of cloning going on, and then the whole Darth Vader comic is explaining about how Palpatine did his cloning with Snoke. So I've just been throwing so much cloning. It's like they got to come up with a new way. There's got to be something new. But I guess they're trying to go into what they're perceiving is going to be in the future. And cloning looks like a big thing. Cloning and teleportation should be 2 of the biggest things they're probably working on, right?
Well, you'd think can't you full time right now? Don't we already have that ability? Why can't we fucking full time with everybody?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So that we can just like walk through a portal and
that would be amazing.
Something. Yeah. Something up. There's something up with like everything that we see on the earth that's we question and wonder how it happened. The pyramids and all these things,
ancient alien theories, right?
Yeah, and they all align to a specific degree, and there has to be portals. I mean,
that's really cool.
Sounds really weird to say, but like it has to be alien.
You're in Surrey, British Columbia, where I live, Todd. We're in Bowmanville, Chris.
In Bowmanville, of course. Bowmanville. Gotta have
it. Todd, we touched on we went pretty good, and then we got kicked off because
the line there, but that's all right.
Started coming at us, and then we went back. We've been on a bit of a thing about Chris. This is on the bonus version that we're going to release on the audio, but we dove into some of the expanded universe on Star Wars and the Darth Vader comic and how they're getting into a bit of origin.
The Bad Batch, yeah.
Bad Batch and stuff. So to you, a question to you on how do you feel about all the extra Star Wars stuff? And how do you watch it? Because when Chris watches it, when he's watching Bad Batch, he doesn't care about the animation per se and the rest of it. He's trying to watch the little bits that are tying stories in. How do you watch these stories?
I think a little bit of both. I don't really know it chronologically to the point where it bothers me. Like when I can't, like X-Men movies bug me because they're not chronologically.
No continuity in that stuff, right?
Man. And it's like, some continuity, please. Like, why is Iceman in school when he was one of the original guys?
Yeah, and why is it Alex before Scott Summers? That is ridiculous.
Totally, right? So that bugs me, but I'm not to the point where I'm like that with the other one. So I'm kind of with Star Wars. So I kind of watch it more for just like the fan part side of it, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and like I truly do love those things. And like the Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars was insanely good.
Yeah, the Darth Maul stuff was great, huh?
Like so impressive, right? So yeah, I think like Bring It On, like were they not talking about like a Boba Fett movie on its own?
Did you watch you finished The Mandalorian? Yeah,
Mandalorian was amazing. Yeah,
How great was
kids
that?
watched that, and of course they loved it as well, and
So good.
loved the last episode. Yeah, so I'm hearing all these things that are happening with Star Wars, and wholeheartedly like yes.
We went from that to Invincible, which we just touched on. Obviously,
Yep.
thoughts. You're only a couple episodes in. Are you going to keep going on it, Todd, or is it hooking you, or not really?
Yeah, I'll probably keep going on it.
Chris has watched the whole thing. It was the first time I've ever told Chris to stick it out, and he actually beat me to the end.
Oh wow!
And now I'm only on episode 3. But
I thought you watched it all, so I thought, oh man, I got to catch up to Brent, so I better watch it all today while I'm doing this project. So to get commissioned, so it kind of every time I see that commission I did, I'm going to think of
he's drawing comics and all the rest of it, and then obviously we touched on Venom, and for me, I'm super stoked to see Stephen Graham in there, the actor.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of his.
Stephen Graham, who's he playing?
So he's the guy that you would see. He's a major character actor. He was in the Band of Brothers. He was in the Irishman lately. He played.
Was he playing a cop in the movie or something? Or
yeah, I think so. It looks like he's playing a cop in the movie.
He's the guy with the beard,
the goatee that's walking.
Oh, and he's an actual character from the comic book. I watched a thing on it today. Yeah,
he's great. He's one of my favorite actors. And
was he going to make all the Venom comics?
He actually likes all my tweet when he was on the Irishman, and I was like, like. You want some acting, even though he was going up against Pacino in The Irishman. There is no better scene, and I don't know if you've seen it, Todd, but there was no better scene when they're sitting in Florida, and Stephen Graham was 10 minutes late to meet Hoffa. I don't know if you watched it, but it's some of the best acting and writing I've seen in the last 10 years.
Anyways, Invincibles had tons of the voice acting, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
right.
Really
okay,
good.
Chris, you've got a couple more places to go here. We've got.
Well, Todd, we want to talk about, because Todd and I really bonded over the fact that the FF movie's coming out, and that's
Fantastic Four.
We've had so many, Fantastic Four. Sorry, I'm at FF. Yeah, we had so many. What do you got there? Oh, nice. Oh, Galactus is so cool too.
Right? Hold on, Chris. Before we go any further,
Resurrection of Galactus.
Oh man,
we like doing this. We like having a 20-minute intro with our guest. Hey, Todd, welcome to the Kids on the Escalator podcast. Tell us who you are. No, we didn't do that.
Okay. What did somebody say? Hey,
that's awesome.
No, that's just me saying welcome to the podcast. Finally, this is what we like to do, the long intros.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, it's Todd Hancock, host and the creator of the TODDCast Podcast. Longtime radio guy in Vancouver, and all around jackass.
And awesome. Fellow Blundell network dudes, and we got news on that today too.
Yeah, we do, don't we? I saw that. Holy cow!
But what was that? Something about
something about a thing with the stuff. Yeah,
merging. Was it the Sound Off Podcast Network? Which is
Matt.
Matt, right?
Yeah. So we've got basically we can get into that, but Jeff Woods is coming in, and then like we're gonna basically just take Matt's pod network that wants to go video, and we've got our audio mostly network that wants to go, or we got a lot of video on our network that everyone's doing some killer content all the way around, but Matt's like this super hardcore podcast, like Matt takes podcasts and blows them up and makes them huge. So it's going to be a great mix. So a lot of their people want to go video. A lot of our people want to up their audio. Plus there's going to be lots of like economic, like little things that are going to go. So it's now officially made it the largest podcast network in the country.
Wow.
And nationwide as far as like assets and all the rest of it. And there's, you can check out the press release on blundell.com, but we was going to get into that a little bit later. But anyways, Todd is, we go back a long time now, and definitely, so basically, the partnership is basically trying to basically take the give people a shot, give people a chance to have a voice, give people a chance to create something. There's a lot of radio guys, Todd, as you know, they're out of work, a lot of media people that are out of work that don't have a place to go. Well, now they're going to have all their tools at their disposal, going video every single day, having audio that's ready-made, ready to go, crossing over, programming and guests and advertising and all the rest of it. It's just going to be a huge, and nice. I think it's going to be great for everybody everybody involved, because Jeff's podcast is big. Jeff Woods, I'm sure you know.
Yep.
You're well aware. And Matt's got a bunch of other ones on there that are doing really well. And of course, our network is expanding like crazy, and there's just so much different variety on there. So between the three of us, we've got the three best pods, really. I mean, there's the Todd, the Brenton on Tour, and the Kids on the Escalator. I mean,
there you go. What more do you need?
That's the whole reason to tune into the whole network.
What else do you need, really?
That's right. Else.
Check everybody else out, but what else?
Okay, now I got to read the list because I isolated us now. JJ and Mel and Fucked Up and Mercedes and Deans and
there's so many.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
Go to deanblundell.com. Go to deanblundell.com. Find out about all that stuff. Huge announcement today. Todd's on the network. We're on the network. And pretty soon the rest of the country will be on the network. By the sounds of it, if Bill C10 doesn't take us all down. Todd, Todd, back to where we were.
Okay, so movies. So Todd, so it's funny because when I talk about the new Marvel stuff with everyone, a lot of times, this character's got to come in and they're going to make this character huge. And it's like, but wait. We still need to see the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. Like there's no way they can push all these extra characters in there without doing this first. So, and the Fantastic Four is huge, as we discussed on your show. They are the first family of Marvel. They're one of the first real big superhero families that, other than the Justice League that really did something. Now, what we want to do, Todd, is when the movie comes out, do you have any suggestions or any suggestions of who the actors or actresses should be, or who you would like to see playing any of the roles? Because I know we talked about Jim from The Office, or John. I can never pronounce his last name.
John Krasinski.
I want to call him Kraviatsik, like Chantel for some reason. Krasinski. Okay, so him and his wife, right, would have been a great combo for that, I thought. And then I also heard that Jennifer Lawrence was already cast as the Invisible Girl, which is, I know, because everybody loves her for some reason. And her terrible mystique.
When they do multiple roles for the same person, like really, Ben Affleck can do Batman and Daredevil and like same for our beloved Ryan Reynolds. He was the Green Lantern, he Deadpool. Like spread it around a little bit, and sometimes maybe because of just how big that the marquee is of Marvel, it doesn't need to be somebody that we know. Right. We're going to go to this theater to see a really good version of whatever because it's on the context, not who it is. Yeah. It's the Fantastic Four. I'm not going because it's Buddy. I'm going to see Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
Yeah. But they've tried to cast all these people. I don't think any of the Fantastic Four ones have worked yet.
None of them have, not even close. And that's the shitty thing, is like that team is so iconic that they should be able to really put together a good storyline, but then also just the graphics and the CGI and just all of that, it's just comes short. As a fan, it's just fallen short each time.
Yeah. And Doctor Doom hasn't looked right, and Galactus being a cloud. Wow, what?
Like a cloud.
When I thought Galactus was actually going to be on the movie, I was like, I just sat there waiting for when, holy cow, Galactus is going to be, it's going to be Galactus. He's coming. And then he comes in, he's a cloud, and it's like, oh, you bastards. Oh, it was just like, are you kidding me? What did you do to Galactus?
Who makes that call?
So bad, man. He should have been like waltzing across the universe, mowing on a planet.
Right?
Oh, who makes that call?
I don't know. Maybe they ran out of money to do the CGI, but
probably it's probably what happened.
They spent it all on the Silver Surfer,
guys
right?
Totally found out what we did.
Yeah. So probably. It's too bad, but it's funny because we were also saying, Todd, that it's one I like the original X-Men. It's one of the easiest movies to do. Just do what they originally did. It's gold. Like don't try and reinvent the hockey stick, man. The hockey stick works. You know what I mean? Like just fix it a bit and make it. Oh, my cat's jumping
doesn't
all
work
over.
For the Canucks.
No, I know.
Boo.
There we go.
Boo.
Oh, are you a big Canucks fan, Todd?
I am, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Toronto. My dad took me to see hockey games since I was a little kid as well. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted it to go better, but we can get into that.
Really, I just want a Canadian team to take the cup again.
I do too. I think that'd be great. Well, we're doing Nerds on Ice next week, right?
The Anaheim Mighty Ducks. They did a few years ago. They had the most Canadians of anybody in the league.
That's true.
And I was just going to say, and I'm also not the proponent of, well, that team has more Canadians. Who cares? I want the name to be on the cup, not that there was 40 people that were Canadian on that team. Who cares? I want it to be the Canucks first, and then after that, don't care.
Yeah. the cup needs to be on Canadian soil. I agree with you.
Like if it's the Leafs, great. I don't care.
Todd, where were you in 2011 where were you, Todd, in 2011 when the Canucks lost to the Bruins in Game 7?
I remember that.
I'll tell you where I was.
I was with you, Brent.
That's right.
My show. I was downtown Vancouver doing my radio show on the street where they had blocked it off, right by the library. And so there's no cars, but there's a ton of people, like conservative guess 5,000 people in a one city square block kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And as the game is progressively, we are seeing that there's no chance of us coming back. You're starting to see bottles and shit chucked through the audience, and and the air was starting to get electric. You know, you can feel like this is not good, right? So right at the end of my shift, it was 7:00. I called my wife and I was like, I was going to stay downtown, but I think I'll see you in like 15, 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then of course, 20 minutes, half hour later, they're riding in downtown Vancouver. Yeah, so I was right there, right in the thick of it, right until the very end. And then I was like,
I was sitting in a pub with Chris, and we were at our buddy Scott's pub in Port Perry, at Harp and Wiley's. We were watching the show, and there was so much hate against the Canucks that all you clowns were looking for Boston to win.
Oh, yeah.
You guys were all like, fucking go Boston, because everyone hated Burroughs.
I wanted Vancouver to win. I didn't want Boston.
Everyone hated Vancouver at that time. And I was like, come on. And then then the whole thing went down, and then it switched right to CBC. And Chris was like, hey, Brent, your city's on fire. And then they showed the whole thing. And I was like,
that's what you get.
I was like, come on, Surrey, represent. You know,
everybody in the pub was screaming at Luongo. They were all telling, pull Luongo, get him out of there. That's what it was. Is there was a lot of Vancouver fans, but a lot of Bruin fans.
2-0. They lost.
But don't you remember that? Because we were sitting by this guy.
The mistake in that series was not playing Schneider in Game 3, and because they had him on the ropes, it was 2-0. Mm-hmm. Why? I know play the hot hand. I don't give a shit. Schneider's numbers against Boston were killer that year. They should have played Schneider in Game 3 and just were like, Lou, we're going with Schneider in Game 3. His numbers are better. And then you can say, we did it. It's only one game we lost, and then we move on. But once you lose that game, which they did with Luongo, now what do you do? Yeah. They didn't go to Schneider in Game 4. They went back to Luongo. Then it was 3-2. And Schneider never got in they won the fucking Jennings together. They were like the best tandem in the league for goaltending. So why they never played Schneider in Game 3? And to me, that was the difference in the series. And I know a lot of people will disagree with that, but I think playing Schneider in Game 3, regardless of win or loss, they would have been like, okay. And if they win, they go up 3-0. Is Boston going to come back and win 4 in a row? Maybe.
I do remember that, actually. Yeah, I remember the sports guys in the city talking about that Schneider should have started. And I
thought so. His numbers against Boston were lights out. So then anyways.
Great tender as well, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, that was the mistake. That's what lost it to me, because by the time they got to Game 7, Tim Thomas was like, I'm not losing this.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. He was a weird
I'm not losing this. I'm not losing this.
Good goaltender.
The Nathan Horton thing.
We're close, man. We're close.
You know what was an interesting story about that? Is that I think Aaron Rome was suspended, right? Mm-hmm. Aaron Rome suspended for hitting Nathan Horton.
Oh,
remember Horton went out in Game 2 or something. Remember there was like the knee on knee or something like that, and I think Rome got a 10-minute misconduct, and then he was suspended the rest of the series, even though there was question whether it was a dirty hit or not. Mm-hmm. Do you know that if the Canucks would have won the series, he wouldn't have been able to have his name on the cup?
Really?
Because he was suspended in the final. Because he was suspended during the final. All of that season, all of the shit, because he was a workhorse in the playoffs. To get suspended in the final series, if you win the cup, you don't get the name on it. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they would have won the cup? Who would have just jumped off a bridge?
Well, I think to get your name on the cup anyway, you have to play at least 30 regular season games and at least a game in
Right.
the playoffs.
Okay,
But he
I know
played a
that.
lot that season, and he was a big factor in the playoffs. And then got suspended on the Horton hit,
Man.
and that would have been it. He wouldn't have been able to get on the cup.
Brutal.
Part of me was secretly going, I hope they blow it. I can't handle this shit. We'll have to get him on the show. I'm sure he's hanging around working at an art gallery somewhere.
So Todd, who's your all-time favorite Canuck player?
Oh, Linden,
Trevor Linden, right on.
Linden, yeah, or McLean.
The goalie, right?
Both, yeah. I mean, I love them both so much, right?
Nice.
But man, there's been so many players over the years that I loved as well, like Bure. I wasn't a big fan when Messier was here.
I was gonna say Messier was even there for a while, right?
Didn't care. Mogilny was super exciting as a Canuck player.
Oh, yeah,
and I was a fan of McGillney when he
great.
was in the Leafs. I thought he was a great player.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you can answer this one, Todd, for us. So, being the Toronto kids that we are, I like to pose this question to Vancouver heads. When I moved out here, I couldn't believe the hate on for Toronto. And I'm not talking about the Maple Leafs. I'm talking about the hate for Toronto. It was mostly Dave Pratt leading the charge on this thing. I'm just saying from the 1040, but the hate on the airwaves between Toronto just in general. So you being from out here where I am now, why is there such a hate for Toronto outside of the Leafs? Just a hate for Toronto, whether it's west versus east. Tell me, as a Vancouverite.
But I think that what it is that's where the nucleus, where it actually stems from, is the Leafs.
Wow.
And it's like, we need to have this game played at 4 p.m. Pacific time so that people if you like your team enough, then you would watch them at 7 o'clock when we normally would start a game. You start watching them at 10. Like if a game started at 10 o'clock with the Canucks, I would watch it. It's that mentality of like, when you hear like the when they're doing like sports scores and everything, they can't fucking get past the Canucks fast enough to talk about the Leafs again for 50 minutes. It's that, I think, is what it is. It's just so like, it's the center of the universe. Everything revolves around that team. And I think that's where it actually comes from, is the Leafs. Like, I don't know that it's city so much.
It's like that with bands though. Toronto bands used to think there's like when Brent and I used to play in the scene, right? Dude, Toronto bands thought they were so cool. And you'd come in from out of town or on a tour or whatever, and it was all like a big pissing contest with these other bands. Well, from Toronto, or we're playing Toronto, or Toronto. It's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I play Toronto, and my biggest crowd is not in Toronto. My biggest crowd is in like Belleville or somewhere, or Windsor. I don't care about Toronto when I was in a band. You get to the point where it's like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. And that's, I was born in Toronto. You know what I mean? But I got music-wise, I couldn't stand Toronto people. They used to,
I think that's
so pissed me off
what
so
it is,
much.
right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's just like,
they thought they were so cool, dude. Yep.
Yeah. And that's just not the Vancouver.
The other side of it too could be
West Coast way, right?
No, more the West used to send the East all their money to balance things out. Right. And also when I moved out here, I mean, I remember I was like, 05, 08, maybe it was whenever the election, if we back it up 10 or 12, whenever that was, they finally needed BC to decide who the prime minister was going to be.
Oh, wow.
So up to that point, if you won Yonge Street, you just took the whole thing down. It'd be like, if you win New York, you're the president of America, of the United States.
Right.
So it was kind of an interesting one. I always like to ask that take because I don't know too many people out here from here.
Oh,
even Morrison's from Toronto, and like some of these other guys, I don't know too many people from Vancouver here.
Right.
It's
I don't know. I mean,
interesting.
I personally have never, maybe I've ribbed about it or whatever, but not true wholeheartedly like fuck Toronto. I've never been like that. I've had some fun times there, North by Northeast, and going and just getting completely shitty with the guys in Dine Alone, and
take comfort in the fact that lots of people in Toronto have said fuck Vancouver all the time. Chris, where do you want to go now, buddy?
Okay, well, so FF movie. Todd, did you have anybody you think would be great for even one of the characters? My only thing is I would love to see a really young Johnny Storm. I could even do some unknown character actors as long as they're good. You know what I mean? As I mentioned, there's some actors in the Falcon Winter Soldier that I thought were pretty weak, and they dropped the ball a bit in there, especially compared to WandaVision, which I thought was strong. So do you have anybody that you think, even one of the...
I can't really think of anybody offhand. Like I'm with you. Like I would much rather see somebody though. Who the hell is this?
Yeah.
That's a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Then, oh great, it's Ben Affleck again.
Right.
Like that's what I want to see is like a good actor, maybe not necessarily super well known, because again, it doesn't need to be. It doesn't. Ben Affleck's not getting me to go see Batman.
No, exactly.
Like it could be one of you guys. And I'd go see it.
What's Ben Affleck getting you to go see, Todd?
Ben Affleck.
If he did a Kevin Smith
movie, maybe back in the day, like the original movies that he's known for, right?
Mallrats,
all the Kevin Smith, the Smith Chasing Amy's and all that, yeah, like that. Okay, he might be pulling me in for that, but like, well-known roles like Batman, Fantastic Four, Wolverine, and shit. Like it's not. What was the Wolverine's actor's name again?
Hugh Jackman.
It's not Hugh Jackman. It's getting me to watch that. It's Wolverine.
Yeah.
It could be like Dave Smith. Fuck yeah, I want to see Dave Smith be Wolverine because the trailer looks awesome. It's not Hugh Jackman. It's the character, right? So yeah, I don't know. Long way of saying it. I don't really know. I don't really have any favorites. For me, I've never really been that. Like I'm super that guy for name me bands and who worked on that album and who's crossed over and all that shit. I'm that guy. But as far as like name me like 20 actors, I'd be like, got a few minutes. Right.
Yeah. I gotta Google like actors and stuff, and because the Moon Knight TV show's been cast now, right? And it's the gentleman who was Poe Dameron, and I couldn't stand his character. Sorry, in Star Wars.
Oh,
yeah. So he's playing Moon Knight, and then and then the villain. Oh, who's the villain in Moon Knight?
Larry Bird.
No. Was he in True Romance?
Chad Kroger.
No. Oh man, he's a popular actor, and so they got another popular actor to play the villain
in True Romance. Christian Slater.
Yeah, is it not Christian? Is it Christian Slater? No, but it's somebody like that. Somebody like Christian Slater.
True Romance is a great movie.
Oh, dude, anything Quentin Tarot touches, I just love. He's got so many great movies, dude. Amazing. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. I watch any that and The Shining. The movie The Shining is like my all-time favorite. I've watched that like a dozen times a year, Todd. It's just one of my favorites.
Wow.
If I'm ever feeling drained mentally about drawing or art, I just put that on. It's like, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I really love that movie, dude. So cool.
That's how he unwinds, is watching Jack Nicholson take the world down.
No, I unwind by killing zombies on my PlayStation. No, I get creative by watching Kubrick movies, because everything was done on purpose in a Kubrick movie. There's nothing's by chance. Like if there's a ketchup bottle in the back, it's there on purpose, right? And you can read it and stuff. But yeah, I'm obsessed with that Shining movie. I see something new every time. Great stuff. Great. So, but this Fantastic Four movie should be simple to do, I think. As we mentioned, they go into space, they get hit by cosmic rays, they come back, they have powers. They decide they're going to become a super exploring team, and the Mole Men come up from underground, and then the side story is Doctor Doom. And then you expel you bring Doctor Doom in for the second one. Like really bring him in the second one. And the other easy one to do is the X-Men. If you do the original X-Men, you got these kids with powers, they can't control them. They need a mentor. Put them together. Society hates them. Boom, there you go. Right.
Just fight Magneto at the army base.
Oh, Magneto, yes.
He chucks a couple tanks at him. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and he threatens to like blow up the whole world with bombs. Like it's easy to do, really easy to do.
Why haven't they done a Kraven the Hunter as the villain of a Spider-Man movie? Like, what are you waiting for?
Yes, he's awesome. You know that series where he actually kills Spider-Man and buries him? Have you read that one?
Oh yes.
I can't think of the name of it. It's excellent though. Like it is superb. Like he actually kills Spider-Man, stops his heart, buries him, takes over. I can't remember the name of it, but it's so good. And the cover of him of him like beating his chest on Spider-Man's grave in the rain. Oh my gosh! And then the one where Spider-Man's crawling out of the grave. Like it's just really, really done well.
Okay,
really
then I have a question for you. I got a question for you then. If we're talking about, it's easy to do Fantastic Four because you're gonna just follow this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Todd, you don't care about cast. You just want the people to be good.
Yeah, I just want it to be well acted. Sure.
Do these superhero movies? Let me just throw it out there. Would you accept a completely different take on a Fantastic Four?
No, they did that already.
But I'm not talking about the explosions and I'm talking about these superhero movies. We go in expecting the world to explode and the fucking superheroes are going to rescue everything. What about a subtle M. Night kind of approach?
Well, that might not be good for Fantastic Four, but you could do that with a character. Oh, there's millions.
Wouldn't that be interesting? No, if it was like you're watching this movie and at the end of it, you're
what are you saying?
Fuck, it's at Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would be open to that.
I'm just curious. Do they all these? Are we in a spot now where I think we touched on it a couple of weeks ago, where there's literally like, you just have an expectation going into a superhero movie where everything's got to blow up and everything. And Chris says that on Invincible he was talking about, we're back to this story. We're back to the kid like going to school. Mm-hmm. So how could they change these superhero movies in a subtle way that completely changed it? Like Deadpool did it, but he still blew a bunch of shit up. Could they do a big enough change to make it more like a Kubrick kind of thing, Chris? Could they ever take
you got to get the right character? You got to get the right character. Like it's just, you just need the right character. The Punisher could be done in a way where there's not a lot of sci-fi effects. You could get inside the Punisher's head, man, and it'd be really, really cool. See, Moon Knight might be that way. Moon Knight is, it's, again, he's one of you have these lower tier heroes, right? Like Daredevil and Spider-Man that fight more on the streets. And then you get the Avengers and the Fantastic Four who are more fighting cosmic entities. The whole thing about Fantastic Four is they're fighting enemies from another planet. So to do that would be cool. And I'd love to see maybe somebody try and write that. But again, if you're fighting stuff on a cosmic level, that might be a little difficult. But again, Daredevil would be a great one to do. Oh, there you go. Daredevil. Boom. You could do a dark, creepy, nice, without any special effects at all, Daredevil movie. Because his psyche in that character is incredible. He's this blind kid who his dad wanted him. It was a boxer, right? He grew up watching his dad fight for a living and tell him not to fight. You got to learn. You got to learn so you don't live the same life as me. And then the kid loses his vision and his dad. And he turns to the church. The church takes him in and looks after him. So now he's a vigilante, and he's torn between like what he's doing because was raised by the Christian way. You know what I mean? And we know how crazy religion is, man. Religion's nuts. Religion will mess your head up alone, let alone being blind and having your dad being, a certain way. Wow, this cat has got to go. Could you please put him in the garage? That'd be fantastic. That's like right on. So Daredevil would be amazing. Like flat out, and we could lower tier that and it would be so good. And his villains are great too. Like the whole thing between the three-way dance or the four-way dance between Kingpin, Elektra, and Bullseye in the comic book is amazing. Of course, Ben Affleck in the movie there, they really F that. Don't get me started on how the problems in that, because holy crap, they took one of the best stories ever by Frank Miller and Daredevil and just F'd it. But Daredevil could be done on a very low-key level and done just amazingly though. Like just so cool.
I bet you that two big ones could also be done like that, like a Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, dude,
and a Batman could also be done like that.
Batman for sure. I think you're going to see that more
like the Joker one,
with
right?
the new Batman. Yeah. Well, the Joker was subtle like that,
but like no effects, no special effects or anything.
I think the new Batman's going to be very similar to that, because I thought they were going after the detective side of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think they're going a little bit more down that approach of him being the best detective in the world. Mm-hmm. All the characters, the bad guys seem to be a little bit more human. And
you got Penguin and Two-Face. Is that who it is?
You got Penguin, Catwoman is in there,
right?
And I think the Riddler.
Oh, the Riddler. Okay, decent.
So it's going to be
the Riddler's usually pretty over the top, right?
Yeah, but they're all done in a little bit of a different way.
It'll be interesting to see. Yeah. But the Riddler's always usually over.
No, I feel like that side of DC though lends itself to that. Even the Dark Knight series was a little bit more normal. He had flying shit and all the rest of it, but it was still just him against the Joker. Right. And then this other guy with a breathing problem. So I'm just I'm just saying like, and the first one was him against himself. And like, I'm just saying there was very little. Batman only enters that world when it's that world. But the Batman series itself is very subtle. Mm-hmm. So I think it lends itself to that. I think Batman lends itself to that.
Oh, you do.
Anyways, where do you want to go now, Chris? You got a couple more things before we let Todd get out of here. We want to do pop culture.
Yeah. What were some of your favorite pop culture moments that we've had so far this year, Todd?
Pop culture moments.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know.
Like I can give you one of mine just to help you out a bit here.
Yeah, get my brain rolling here. What do you got?
As a whole, man, WandaVision, I thought was so
that was cool.
for the adults. And
That was
for
cool.
us, our Marvel fans who just want to find the Easter eggs, whether Mephisto showed up or Keanu Reeves was a character that did Nightmare. Oh, dude, it was brilliant. I loved it. It kept me watching. When I was done, I was looking at my wife going, "Oh my god!" When Quicksilver showed up, the original cool one, I was like, "Yes!"
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Mandalorian moments, which I have a few of those, but as a whole, WandaVision I thought was brilliant. One of my highlights.
Yeah, I would say so too. And it actually surprised me. Like for the first episode, I was like, what is this? I just don't know if I'm going to do this. Like,
I know, right?
Huge Marvel Comics fan. I actually have the Vision and remember the Scarlet Witch limited series. I've still got that.
Nice.
So I was like, I'm just going to give it another chance. And by the end of the second, I was like, okay, they got me.
You see where it's going though, right? As a Marvel fan, it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
And then it's like, wow, is there going to be twins? Or and then the twins come in. It's like, oh my God, and that's Agatha Harkness. Right. And then it all starts to click for you as a Marvel fan. And then you're looking at everything else, right? Like everything else that's happening. Yeah. So I
think you also got to touch on the fact, Chris, that almost everyone was out. The casual viewer were almost all out after episode 3, and then 4 brought them back in, which we predicted.
We called it. We totally called. Yeah, we did.
Because Dean was out, Lachlan was out, everyone was out. They're like, it's over. And then we said, Chris is like, hold on, one more episode.
Give it to like, episode 4, and you'll be so happy, my friends. And that's
but the world did the same
government
thing.
Comes in, the army comes in, and then the people who don't get it, like, oh, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? That's when they all started enjoying it. Is when
now it's starting to feel like Marvel again,
right? And then
but the world did that.
Yeah,
the world was doing the exact same thing at the same time. The world was all doing that, and I haven't seen that in a long time.
The way they showed, and just Scarlet Witch though, her acting, Elizabeth Olsen's acting, and I keep forgetting her name, the Han girl, Catherine Hahn. They were brilliant. I kept saying that they should be nominated for awards for their acting because both of them were brilliant. They were fantastic. There was no flaws in anything they did. I thought it was great. Like, so that was like, that would probably be pop culture wise my highlight of so far is WandaVision.
Yeah, I would say that. And further to that point, what did you think when Scorsese was saying that that's actually not cinema?
Yeah, I know.
You're saying like they did a really good job of acting and everything. Like, is that just like
he's a guy who doesn't watch all the movies. He watched one movie and probably walked away, well, that was terrible, and hacked on it. You know what? There's no way Scorsese sat down and watched more than 2 Marvel movies. There's no way that guy did. And I get it, and that's cool. Yeah. So somebody caught him lipping off about it when he was in a bat. And he's an old dude too, right? These old guys, man. They go, when you sit down with your parents and so you're like, come on, man. They're going on about the bird outside or something or whatever.
Watchmen. Tell me that's not a good movie.
Or the Joker, the latest Joker movie? Are you kidding me? Right. Like, that was brilliant. If DC would tie that into its whole continuity, they'd have something. But they don't like to commit. They don't like to commit.
I know, it's crazy, right? Yeah. Why not, guys? Just do it.
And that'll lead us into our next thing. Todd, did you hear about Gal Gadot and Joss Whedon there? Whedon?
Yeah.
Did you hear about what happened to Wonder Woman and Joss Whedon? Like he threatened her career when they were doing the Justice League movie. Oh yeah, and it's coming out that Joss was not a good guy when they were doing that movie.
He's the guy that made that movie, didn't he?
Well, Joss Whedon came in to do. He came in to when Schneider left doing Justice League because his daughter died. Joss came in to finish off the movie, and apparently he. Pardon me.
And he said that to her?
Because
he doesn't have a great rep.
He come in and he was like,
deep dive,
Wonder Woman shouldn't be as powerful as you are. You need to tone this down. You can't be acting like this. And she's like, well, I'm a woman. I'm the only woman. No. You got and she was like, you know what? I'm going to play this how I want to play it. And he said, well, I'm going to ruin your career then. Basically,
wow.
Is what he said to her.
No, I hadn't heard about that. That's crazy.
And there's other actors are backing it up too. Other actors are backing up that he's a little, and now they're all saying, yeah, Marvel just sent him over there to just screw everything up. You know what I mean? But yeah, so he's that's not good. When that happens nowadays, that is not good.
That's not good. No,
especially Gal Gadot, who's like such a partial actress who never really, you see her, she's very elegant. She's very well spoken. She's not, without 10 guys getting drunk or doing that whole TMZ thing, right? You don't see her on that kind of thing. So I can see this not being good for him.
Yeah. Same.
So you haven't heard about it, Todd?
No, that you're breaking it right now to me.
Right on, there we go. Breaking news.
Breaking news from what, like a few days ago?
Yesterday, just from yesterday.
Breaking news from yesterday.
Yeah, from yesterday.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it has to be WandaVision for the pop culture, back to that, or like Mandalorian.
Yeah,
and the Mandalorian has been the last year or so, right?
I love the Mandalorian. There was a couple episodes where I finished watching them. I was like, same as the other one. But then there were the moments when you see Boba Fett and you're just like mind blown, right?
Luke,
so good.
Or Luke, because when we were talking about that, I kept saying to everybody, there's no way they're going to give these guys the property of Luke Skywalker. Because you know, when you walk in, they must go into the show going, okay, what characters do I get to, Filoni's like, what characters you give me here? Well, we're going to give you Boba Fett. We're going to give you, I get Boba Fett. Yeah, we're going to give you like IG-88 kind of, we're going to give you this guy, that guy, and we're going to give you Luke Skywalker. What you're gonna give you? I can write. Could you imagine? So I was thinking, yeah, you're gonna do like an Iron Fist movie, but you get to write Spider-Man in there at the end of it. What? Right. That kind of thing. So so there was moments in Mandalorian. A couple episodes, I thought it was great, but a couple things, not as exciting. WandaVision for me was just like
solid
all the way, buddy, all the way, right? And those moments where I'm yelling, yeah, oh my gosh, like that Luke moment when Luke came on the screen, man, I was like, oh my God!
There hasn't been a lot of those moments in a while, and where the whole world reacts.
Yeah. So the Mandalorian, I liked it, but there was moments, whereas WandaVision had everything. And then what else? Oh, well, comic book wise,
but did WandaVision have Bill Burr though?
No, it did not. And then that one episode with him where they went behind the scenes and you got to see where the stormtroopers eat and all that stuff. I loved that. I thought that was great. I thought that, I think it was funny. I think it was the 2 Cara Dune episodes that I just kind of was like, oh, here we go. Fast and the Furious, buddies out in the gun run. You know what I mean? It was just a little, and Cara Dune was great, but she wasn't a fantastic actress. You know what I mean? Like
she's out now.
She's she is. Yeah. But she's no Elizabeth Olsen. And that's her character. I thought she played her character really well. But her character didn't have a ton of layers to it. I'm the huge bodybuilding girl who shoots people, and I'm going to get back into the academy or the rebels. I'm going to join back up with them. That kind of thing. That's what I got out of that. But it's funny that those two are a little weak for me. But comic book wise, it's just Daredevil. Just that comic book is so good. As I mentioned, so good. Well, the Kingpin's the mayor of New York. Daredevil.
Did you buy? Have you bought Todd? Have you bought Daredevil?
Not recently.
Oh, check this then out, buddy.
I used to tons when I was a kid.
Yeah, I do. Okay, here's what's going on now this year. So Kingpin is the mayor of New York. How much is that screwing with Daredevil trying to save like Hell's Kitchen and everything? You know what I mean? Like insanity. Yes. And it's just throwing the crime world for a loop. Well, it gets Daredevil so screwed up that he accidentally kills somebody, like a thug. Yeah, and he's like, of course, and again, we go through the psyche of Daredevil, which is just monumental. His he feels bad about so much stuff he does. But anyway, so of course Daredevil's like, take me in, like, arrest me. And they're like, really? You're Daredevil? It's like, yeah, can you keep so he goes to jail. They're like, hey, we're going to let you keep your mask on, but you're going to jail for murder. So he goes to jail. Kingpin's laughing. And then Elektra comes on the scene. And she's like, well, she sees Matt. She goes to him. She goes, I don't know what. And of course, Elektra is great because she's like, Matt, you're weak. You're an idiot. You need to be stronger than this. You know what I mean? She's like your anti female hero. And this is from back. She's always been like this from back in the 80s. She's been the girl that comes in and goes, oh, kill this person. Okay, done. Pay me. Right. So she took over the mantle of Daredevil because she wants to prove to Matt that the world needs Daredevil so that he will come back around. Right. Because now he's totally docile. He's in a jail. He's fighting for his life in there. Everybody's kicking the crap out of him and he's just barely holding on. And Elektra's trying to bring him back to the world, but he doesn't want to come back to the world because the Kingpin's running it. Everything's corrupt. He's killed somebody. He's lost it. So you got this new Daredevil who's Elektra, and it's just it's amazing, dude. Todd is such a great story, buddy. Like it's
current storyline. That's what's happening right now.
Right now, my friend. Yeah,
love it.
And it's great. And the cool thing about the Daredevil ones is most of them, except for the first one where Elektra took on the Daredevil outfit, and a couple others from this run this year, you can usually get for if you don't. There's a bunch in the dollar bin I know down here in Kingston. And they're not too bad. They haven't gone up in price. So if you want to get any of those, you still can. Great stories. But Daredevil, to me, has always been the best Marvel comic on just character and writing. Because he doesn't go into outer space. We don't see that. So this is on your lower,
What's your
lower tier, right? Because you got to look at Marvel in tiers, man. Like,
my favorite's always been X-Men.
X-Men's been great. I can't follow it anymore, Todd. I pick up a book and I'm like, whoa, who's what team is this? And there's 12 of them in there, and it's like,
right. It's probably hard to follow. Multiple
hard,
multiple players on the team, and but yeah, I've always loved that. Or just Spidey. How can you get away from Amazing Spider-Man too? Right, like the stories are so good. The villains are great.
His rogues gallery is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
But did you see his new suit? Right. Did you see his new outfit? It's blue. He's got this blue Spider-Man costume. Yep, and then like these. Oh, that's all different. Yep, brand new. Again, that one's went up in money too.
DC guys on here. You guys are killing me with
that. Well, the other, yeah. Okay. Well, the other thing I was going to mention was the DC Comics was the three Jokers. Marvel
jerk off.
Did you see the three Jokers, Todd? That comic that came out was a 3-series, 3 Jokers, and it's that. Have you ever heard of that theory that there's not just one Joker? There's 3 of them.
No.
Oh yeah, man. Whoa, what a great! And they came with a card. Each comic book came with like a little playing card with the Joker and Batgirl, the Joker and the Red Hood, Joker and Batman. So you get the comic, nice embossed, thick comic, and you get a card that came with it. And the art was great, the story was great. So they finally tackled that whole 3 because you never hear the proper. The Joker never tells his history correctly in the comic book. He's told like tons. He's told so many different histories of himself, and there's always been that one. It was like, well, wait a minute. This Joker's kind of like this. This one's like this. This one's like this. There's 3 of them. So they play that whole thing out, the 3 Jokers, man. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody because it's.
Hey, Todd, we got to go. You should come out to.
We do. Sorry.
No, you should come out to Langley and we'll go to Toy Traders and we'll try to find a couple of copies of it.
Dude,
or we'll go down to Golden Age.
Film it.
Downtown Vancouver.
Film it.
And do the whole thing. Okay, so TODDCast Podcast. We got more to get to. Well, we didn't get to this. I want to move to some music stuff for a minute because we.
Oh, cool. Yeah, go for it, buddy.
Some music guys on here. You got one of the biggest music podcasts in the land. Mm-hmm. So, tell us about the TODDCast Podcast for a minute, Todd. I want to ask you about of all the people that you've interviewed and the things that and we've dove into a little bit. What's your get? What haven't you got yet? Who are you trying to get? And who have you been chasing ever since you started the podcast to get on the show?
Oof, wow. I have been chasing so many people.
On a side note to that, when you interviewed them with C-Fox, I'm talking about since you landed the podcast and you started it and you got rolling, who you've been trying to get, or that's on that wish list that you're still.
Yeah. That's Ace Frehley.
Oh, wow. I love Ace Frehley.
I've been chasing the Ace.
Really? Oh, man.
3 years.
I think you might have to get Sebastian Bach to text him.
Sebastian Bach, I've been chasing for a while.
Wow.
He's got a new record coming out, so that's
Dee Schneider, Twisted Sister.
He'd be a great interview. Are you a Matthew Sweet fan?
Yeah, I like Matthew Sweet.
Yeah, I like Matthew Sweet too. I always really liked him.
I tagged him on a Star Wars episode trying to get him on, but he wouldn't come on. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many. Tommy Lee.
Ooh, he'd be a good interview too.
I've chirped him off here and there over the year. I got a star in my hand because of him. I'm a drummer because of Tommy Lee.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, those are like probably the first 4 or 5 that I can think of. I mean, I haven't even reached out to try to get like Robert Plant or Jimmy Page or something like a Paul McCartney. Like that's just.
But if you could do 3 hours, any format like this on the pod, and you're like, all right, go. Who is that dream guest for you?
Ooh, that would probably be Jimmy Page.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, he'd have some great stories.
Jimmy Page.
Chris, what's your 3-hour interview guy?
Oh, wow. They're dead. It would have been either Stanley. My first would have been Jack Kirby. I would like to stop the Jack Kirby. Yeah, Stanley would be good, but I think he's had so many interviews and said everything he needs to say. You know what I mean? But Jack Kirby, man, I've got so many questions for Jack Kirby because he's more of the illustrator, right? Well, he is. He was the illustrator and Stan was the idea guy. But I've heard Stan. I have hours and hours of interviews I've seen with Stan. I've heard him talk about Spider-Man. All of them. No, it would be Jack Kirby, but he's passed away. So alive, it would be. Yeah, I think Ace Frehley, dude. I think Ace Frehley would be my guy because he's just he was my. So he had space involved. He had comic book kind of stuff involved, and he played guitar. It was just like he was a triple threat, right? He was a triple threat back in the day with all that. It was great. Yeah. So yeah,
like I've thankfully have interviewed Ace Frehley over the years, just not on the podcast.
Oh, okay, wow.
A couple times on C-Fox, but never with this podcast.
Wow.
Missions ahead. How many episodes have you done now, Todd?
I'm into 248.
Holy shit! Good job, buddy.
Good man.
Coming up on 250.
Nice.
Quarter of a century.
Yeah. Wicked.
250. And the great thing is
crazy considering I thought I'd do like 10.
That is crazy considering
and
that.
you were one of the first in on it. I mean, the podcast before well, there was a lot of podcasts, but
2014 is when I started.
2014, people are like, "What the fuck is a podcast?"
Totally.
And the thing is that people didn't realize that they actually loved them. They just didn't realize they loved them.
Right.
Because people loved all the Howard Stern long forms. That was a podcast before the podcast. It just happened to be on Sirius XM. That's why Howard was so smart. But like, people love the long form. They just didn't realize they loved the long form. Now they like the long form after they can watch the short form. Now they like the long form after they can watch the 5-minute clips and decide whether they want to watch.
Yeah, they got to check and see if they can commit for the whole.
That's
thing,
right. That's why it's going that way. That's why video is such a massive part of it. You know what I mean? It's just like, do I want to watch that? Did they ask Dave Grohl something different I haven't heard already? Right. So it's whereas before you didn't get that.
Yeah.
You were in or whatever. And long form for you guys too. I meant to ask because Dean does it really well, but you guys from radio that generally had 15-minute hits or whatever. 15, sometimes you'd get that
a minute and a half, you mean?
Yeah, or sometimes you get that Sunday night like album preview where everyone would get a little bit more time or something. You'd have Lars interviewing Alice in Chains or something like that. But like, what was that adjustment for you guys coming from radio to starting the pod and trying to like now change your approach to long form? Because that would have been
I think that whenever I did interviews with CFox, I always did long form interviews, and then I just picked some of the key moments for the Rock Report or the afternoon show when I was doing it, right? So I think I always still did the long form anyway, like, in long form for radio, maybe it's like a 10-minute interview, 15-minute interview, right? Whereas now, like, I'll do a 2-hour interview. I don't care if it's engaging. And, I felt bad. I had to wrap it up with Chris the other day pretty quick because I had to take off. That's all right. At that point, but I think we talked for 75 minutes and it went by. It felt like half hour.
By quick.
So I think I've always I've always kind of done those styles of interviews anyway. And then I just was like, oh, that was cool. I'll use that in the show, and then posted everything else on the website.
Great.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, you were one of the first to do it, man. And and you were a big help for me when I started mine, and then which has helped with this. So, dude, we're happy to have you a part of the Escalator family, brother. And we're all sponsored by Blue. Look at this shit.
Yeah, we all got the blue microphones going on.
The blue.
We got the blue going on. Okay, so we got to roll because we've been on and off and cut off and back and on and all the rest of it. We try to keep her to 90 minutes. So I think we're at 90 minutes collectively.
I think we did
20-minute pause in the middle there.
Yeah. It's harder to keep it under than it is to go over, because people say to me, how do you talk that long? And then they pause and they're like, oh yeah, right. Because they know that I go and go, right? But their first instinct is always like, how do you talk that long? And then they always pause. Oh, right.
We generally tell Chris he's got a no energy drink policy, but 4 hours before the pod. So that's just the way it goes.
I get talking too quick. I guess because as I mentioned it before, is I don't have anybody to talk this about other than my wife, which is great. But you know what I mean? Like so when I get it online here, I just like,
But you guys both like the greenery. So
we both like to smoke as well. We didn't even get to that.
There's a bit of that and
proud green Canadians right here, man. Yeah.
We can get into all that down the road too. Yeah, all right, definitely. Todd, lay it all out. Where can everybody find you and all the things that you're doing?
Social media is just at TODDCast Podcast on everything, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, YouTube as well. And then I've got my website, toddhancock.ca.
Nice. Just Google TODDCast and you're probably going to find a ton of stuff. Right?
Yeah, I think you could do that, or Todd Hancock and you'll find it. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And any interview in particular that you want to put out right now and say, I home run this one, and this is like the best one that I've done. Everyone needs to listen to.
Coming up, I've got an interview with KFLA.
It's
awesome.
My daughter's really stoked. My daughter's really stoked on that one.
Yeah, KFLA is she's next week's musical guest. I just released yours today, Chris.
Yeah, I checked it out, dude. Yeah, it's great. Again, thanks for having me on, man. I love getting on other people's podcasts too.
I know it's fun, right?
It is great. It's great.
It's just different being, on the other side of it. But the KFLA is really good. That's coming up. I'm just trying to think of any other ones that are.
I got to tell you, I'm going to just throw it out there, whether people hate it or not, or hate people or not. The fact that Chad brought you to his house and let you do a long form with him, that was like the first interview with Chad from Nickelback in years. where you got long form, and I thought you fucking slayed it. And Chad's a very intricate dude. Like, I mean, for all the shit that they take, the dude is like,
it's pretty level.
I mean, well, he changed the whole thing. They were one of the last bands to sell records, not to mention all the, and all this bro country we can blame him for, which he probably doesn't like, but regardless, he had an influence on everything since 2000. And when did they break? 2000
ish, 2002, 2000-ish. Yeah, around there, 2000.
And I haven't heard a long form from him that wasn't on Howard Stern. You're the only one I've heard. And he brought you to the house. He brought you to the house, and I thought you nailed it. So any people out there that just want to deep dive, Todd's got some great stuff on there. So make sure you check out Todd.
Yeah, I mean, my SoundCloud and my iTunes and all that. You can find everything. Yeah, I mean that interview with Chad specifically was so like I called him. I was like, hey, you want to do a quick interview? They just jump on the phone. He's like, no, fuck that. Come out to my house, like crash over. We'll play some pool, get some good eats, and play some new shit. And I was like, yeah, sounds great. And he's one of those guys that I've known for so long that it's Chad who's super famous, but to me, it's just Chad Kruger.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's not anything, I've known those guys since the start of their band and just kind of watched their success and super happy and proud for them. And, but yeah, it's a really good, I will agree. That's a pretty good interview. Cause he's so, it's like two buddies talking and you kind of catch him off guard, and he's traveling down roads that I'm sure he's like, fuck, I can't believe I just said that story.
That's great.
When I was out in Abbotsford at the arena working, he was there most of the shows just hanging out, and he was a really good guy. So
yeah.
Anyways,
okay,
Todd,
boys.
Thanks, buddy.
Nice. Right on.
Yeah,
good
thanks,
to see you,
Todd.
Come back anytime, man.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah,
anytime. Hang out and
sounds good. Love to.
That's Todd Hancock, everybody. TODDCast Podcast, fellow DeanBlundell.com podcaster member,
comic enthusiast.
Comic enthusiast, all the rest of it. We got some thanks and some things to do here, Chris. So we've got we're going to thank our friends at Blue Microphones.
Yes.
Bonnie's got a little promo there. She's going to run for us.
There it is, right there. It's running.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, and you can see
we put a little. Lonnie put a little video together of how awesome the Yeti is.
I used it last night. I had Frank from Slash's band on last night. I had Frank on.
That's great.
Frank Sidoris on last night, talking coffee and a few things. I went live and threw that in there.
It is.
So there
beautiful.
You go.
Nice.
Thanks.
You got to give back because free mics are great.
Yeah, free is good.
I love a free mic.
A couple things. Okay, so there's that. Everyone, thanks so much for being so patient tonight with the tech. Sometimes it's just the world of the internet.
It happens.
Away she goes.
We're good. We got those all picked up eventually, though. We're all good.
Thanks to our friends at DeanBlundell.com and everybody over there for hosting us every single Tuesday night, and wherever you get your pods over there as well. A great group of people over there that, and we have a whole bunch of them on our pod all the time. So we've had JJ on, we've had Jennifer, Todd's on now. We've had, we're trying to get them all on. So congrats to the network on a big merger today. So that's going to be great for everybody involved on this.
More listeners. That's what we want.
Yeah. Chris, Skeletron update. You got Skeletron?
Well, I'm stuck. I'm ready to print, but we got a lockdown here. So as soon as Ford gives us the okay to get back on the streets and we're okay, and we get this all under control, everybody gets their shots. I understand. I'm not one of those guys that's not wearing a mask or on that stuff. It's been a while. I wish our government would figure stuff out, because then I can get my comic printed because it's all ready to go. So the thing is, I got the money for this finally and get it printed. And then I parlay the money from that, and I can print the second one. But I can't print the first one until we open things up again. So I'm stuck here, and it's nuts too, because my wife is watching me walk around and pace, and because I'm 4 issues in, so my energy is not into the 5th issue yet because I haven't even released the first one. So I'm just kind of drawing some commissions and filling up stuff for the store, and now I'm just pacing around the house, man. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. Lethargic. How you doing, Chris? I'm lethargic. I'm just feeling a little lethargic. Yeah, I just got to get more weed, I guess.
Yep.
And so support Chris Machete on Patreon.
And our Etsy store.
You can buy the Etsy store. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. Java for Journey for Java. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. Brenton on Tour. New episode tomorrow. Nice. And here we are. I think that's a wrap.
We did it
for tonight. Kids on the Escalator Podcast for a Tuesday night. That is Todd Hancock. That is Chris Machete. I'm the other guy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good times.
Rad dudes.
Yeah.